So you now know who the remixers are for the Feeding on Me single, and that's Tactical Sekt and Grendel. And as I said in the post, I wanted to do a little bit of a video update to let people know why those two contributions are so important to me personally. And it starts off way back at the beginning, and it's a nice little story because I kind of think of my life to a certain extent, and very much my time in music as this kind of chain reaction, and one thing has kind of led to the other. And so it all started off when I was 17, a long time ago, and I was in music college at the time. I knew at that stage that that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to be a musician. So to be able to fund my my small 17-year-old lifestyle, I had to have a job, obviously. So I worked at my local Starbucks for my deficit on my soul. So yeah, I worked there for a long period of time. I worked there from probably about I was 15 years old, and over the course of a 2-year period, kind of got to know some regular faces, and one of those regular faces was Mr. Anthony Mather from Tactical Sekt. And for whatever reason, look, this big American guy with these very cool, very flash Oakley sunglasses used to come in most weekends, either with his family, with his brother, or with some friends. And we always had a little bit of a kind of friendly chat whilst I was serving him his coffee of choice on that particular day. And it was quite a friendly acquaintance. Would I call Anthony, or would I have called Anthony my friend at that time? No, I wouldn't. But as I said, it was a real good sign, a kind of friendly acquaintance. It went on for as I said, a few years until one day Anthony walked in, and very quickly was getting his coffee and kind of said, "Hey, do you know any drummers?" And me as a 17-year-old, and very much me throughout the rest of my kind of life, I've basically said, yeah, man, I play drums, which I did. I wasn't blatantly lying, but so I did play drums, but I'd never really done it too much, to be perfectly honest. At that stage, I was kind of more working on guitar work, and again at that time as well, is that I really didn't listen to anything else except metal music. That was my go-to. Back then, and I really wouldn't even consider listening to anything else. And I remember probably a few months before this kind of question came out from Anthony, is that he gave me the first Tactical Sekt album, and I liked it, don't get me wrong, but I kind of thought it was, it was good, and but I didn't really know what that scene was about. I was very comfortable with my kind of friendship group in that metal scene, and I was going to college every single day, and working on music, and it was kind of a self-creational music program, so I was basically just making metal music most days. So I liked it, but to be perfectly honest, I didn't pay too much attention. It's kind of sad looking back on that. But anyway, so the question came up, hey, do you know any drummers? Like, yeah, man, I play drums. He's like, have you got a drum kit? yeah, man, I've got a drum kit. It's like, hey, do you want to play a show with me and my band? And I thought, yeah, that sounds cool. And I didn't really connect all of the dots at that stage. I didn't really connect the dots that it was for that electronic band, because I kind of had the opinion that Anthony at that stage had a few projects going and so on and so forth. I didn't realise the scale of it. I didn't realise what the chain reaction would be. So anyway, after the few weeks and months, I kind of got a little bit more information from Anthony. I knew it was going to be for Tactical Sekt, so I started kind of really delving into that first album a lot more, playing alongside it. He then tells me that, hey, so our kind of old drummer used to play standing up. Would you be able to do that as well? And that was quite interesting, because that was a new talent, or wasn't a talent at that stage, but something that I had to learn. And anyway, so it gets closer and closer to the show, and he's like, "Oh, so we're playing the O2, we're playing the O2 in Islington." And I'd been to a show at the O2 in Islington in London once before, and I went and saw a DJ. Actually, I went and saw a DJ, an act called Buck 65, and I remember seeing him. But what I didn't realise is that when I went to the O2 Academy in Islington before to see Buck 65, it was actually at the bar. So there's a very, very small, kind of thin hallway of a bar at the side of the actual proper venue, and that's where I saw it. And I kind of thought that's where we were going to play until we got there on that day, and it was the big room. So it was, you know, about 1,500 people capacity, and me as this kind of like impressionable young, thought I was beyond my years at that stage, but impressionable young individual. It just kind of absolutely blew my mind. And I remember the feeling that I had playing with Anthony and with Marco on Tactical Sekt, and meeting all of the people there, and seeing that community, and it made a really, really big impact on me, and I absolutely loved it. I relished every single moment of it. And I can't remember at that stage, and again before it, when Anthony was telling me about the show and everything along those lines, me as this kind of young teenager thinking, yeah, I've done it. But it was great. It was really, really good. I hadn't made it. I still haven't made it. But it was the big catalyst for me to be able to do a lot more in music. And then from there I continued to play with Tactical Sekt, and I got to be able to do tours over in Europe, and got to meet new people, got to meet many friends, a lot of people who are very, very close to me or were close to me. Big changes in my life personally from the group of friends that I've met and that I still have and that I'm going to continue to meet. I wouldn't be making the music that I am today, let alone having, as I said, like the friends and the connections and the things that I've done over the years, without Anthony turning around to probably a spotty 17-year-old working in a corporate coffee shop and asking him if he wants to play drums when he didn't really know me. So Anthony, I love you for that, brother. You took a big risk on me for no reason whatsoever, other than you probably had a little bit of a smile when someone served you their coffee. So thank you. And then the first tour we did over in Europe, the band that we were playing with was Grendel. And I remember flying over on the plane with Anthony from the UK to be able to go and play this kind of string of shows with Grendel. And I think at that stage is that, outside of knowing that I really liked the music that I played kind of with Tactical Sekt, it was that moment of, yeah, this music really hits me. This is the type of scene that I want to be able to work within. These are the group of people and the group of individuals that I can kind of involve myself in, and this is the type of music, when I play up on stage, can give me all of those things that you want to feel as a musician. And I remember, I think I probably had a CD player at the time, and I remember sitting on the plane and absolutely blasting through the Soil Bleed album from Yoss, and I was absolutely bowled over. And I remember getting to those string of shows as well, and most of my time, I think most of my energy was probably used dancing to Grendel when they were playing, rather than jumping around on stage with Tactical Sekt. But I had a lot more energy back then. I was young, and as I said, from there, those two acts, without Anthony saying, hey, do you want to play drums, and without Yoss and his music, and him being a great and friendly individual as well, I wouldn't be doing the things I am today. I wouldn't have played all of the shows. I wouldn't have had the opportunity to be able to travel around the world. I wouldn't have made the friends that I have now and are really, really important to me. I wouldn't have been able to play in all of the other bands that I've played with and still play with. So there was, you know, again, so with Tuscaloosa, the reason I play with Tuscaloosa and got that opportunity was because Olaf filled in on keyboards for when our other keyboard player couldn't make it to Wave Gothic Trefton. and Olaf played with us. And then later down the line, a few years later, Olaf asked me to do a show within Tuscaloosa, and then that went from there. And I've done obviously loads of work with Tuscaloosa, and you know, that's a real enjoyment to me. And I love those guys for it. If I didn't do that, I wouldn't have met Andreas and Hilga, who work with Motel Music, who are the producers for Jaded. I wouldn't have had that opportunity and wouldn't have made the things that I do now. So that chain reaction started in a coffee shop, and that chain reaction started with somebody just saying, hey, do you want to do this? Someone kind of taking a big chance, and then on from that. And obviously Anthony did it as well within Yos, inspiring me with the kind of the music that they make. So there's a big personal thank you to both of those as individuals, and I'm very grateful for all of it, and to have them kind of put their individual and personal spin on the music that I've been making, and I have been making this music over the last decade, is amazing. It's a really big thing to me. So thank you to both of you and everybody else. Hopefully that's a little bit of an insight into kind of how it all started for me and why they're so important. But yeah, release is out soon. It's a few weeks time. Thanks for all your support so far. Hope you find this interesting. All the best.